We're going to do something a little crazy today. And I call it crazy, not because it's nuts, but because I haven't done it before, which to me is crazy. But I'm going to look at some reels I shared and give
Not suicidal at all.
Not that one. Although there are some good ones in here that I would like to hit up. That was not one. First of all, listen to this work. Now, this may look difficult to virtually anyone who's watching it, but as someone who has played drums before in bands, I can say that this is something that would probably take me a couple of years of hardcore practicing to get down. Much respect to this kid. It's a kid. He looks like he's what, 13? Maybe 14. Yeah, you don't just pick up the drums and start doing this. That takes extreme dedication. I found that quite impressive. I really appreciate the young people who are excelling at unprecedented levels at anything really, but I'm seeing lots of videos of kids playing the guitar like they've been playing it for 80 years. Violin, piano, drums, super cool stuff. Very impressive. I'm glad that the human spirit has not yet been crushed. Oh, this is a good one.
Because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century.
Why not?
Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role, without that transformation, Europe will not survive. Because at this point...
Why wouldn't you be resented for your leading role in destroying our nation? She acts like, sorry, it's going to happen. You're going to be mad at us. Yes. You know we're going to be mad at you because you're destroying our nation on purpose for your personal gain because you are a Jewish supremacist. Of course we don't want that. We're not going to go along with that. They're going to be killing us and putting us in prison because we defy them. That's what's on the horizon. This one was pretty cool too. Just a nice, simple little chart showing you one of the many reasons that the people in charge of our countries love war. So you got here, bomb Iran, which increases oil prices, which means you can sell your stocks and make a killing. And then you talk about peace. Hey, everyone, everything's fine. The war is ending. The oil prices are going back down. And then they do because of the messaging. And then they buy it while it's low. And then they start bombing again, which raises oil prices. Perfect time to sell it again. So that's one of many ways it helps the evil Satan-worshiping pedophiles who are in charge of our governments. But how does it help you? Oh, that's right. It doesn't. They just tell you everything is going to be bad if we don't do this. It's a scam. War is a scam. The people who are ruining your lives use war to ruin your lives even more and funnel the money back to them. Now, some people take a look at this one. Grab weeds by the roots. And it's got Islamic immigration growing in the garden. And down here at the roots, it says Jewish NGOs or non-government agencies. The uninitiated may be very confused by this graphic, but it's actually very simple to understand. How is all of this Islamic immigration into white countries happening? How is it happening? We're by and large Christian. Why would we be going the extra mile to bring as many conflicting religions in as possible? We're not. We didn't ask for it. We don't want to fund it. We don't want to live here with conflicting religions that are going to culminate in a civil war or a religious war. We don't want it. But these Jewish non-government agencies, which get money from us through taxation and through our government, when they print more money out, to, what are you going to do with it? Oh, we're going to give it to these Jewish NGOs. So they're saying, stop the root of the problem, and the problem will stop happening. Rip out the root, the plant will not grow. I've been telling people this for a long time. Others have been saying it even longer than me. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Now, one of the few, the only one I can think of right now, but one of the few countries in Europe that is not letting this happen to their country is Poland. And their leader is pretty awesome. And let me show you what he had to say here.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me, if you are asking me about Muslims illegal immigration, none, not even one will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal.
Man.
We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked
This
not
quota
about
system
illegal
failed.
immigrants. I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was...
How dare he do what the people who elected him expect him to do? That sounds racist to me.
But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland, and we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Ms. Lockbeal, I mean...
Yeah. You should care about your family and your country. You should not want terrorist attacks. You should not want conflicting worldviews in your country destroying your culture. That's multiculturalism. One culture, one healthy culture is, hey, we all agree. We can all get together and control our government. But when there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 15 different factions, different ideologies, worshiping different gods, how will you unite against your government? You don't even like each other. You don't agree with each other. You can't impose your will through the government because you're fighting your own people. And in America's case and the European countries' cases, their people are being infiltrated by other nations' people, creating a big mess within that country and disrupting the culture, making it multicultural, which makes it to where the people of the country have no power because they're conflicting with the other people who were just brought in. That's being done intentionally by the Satan-worshiping Jews who control our governments. They've bought them. They bribe them and blackmail them. Sometimes they kill them. They kill JFK. They do that. Terrible. It's going to destroy our nations. It's already destroyed them, but it's going to further destroy them. They're going to continue siphoning our wealth and building up Israel and Ukraine and Argentina where they're going to live, and they will just be the slave states. And most people know this now. Most people, it happened very quickly. Within the last 2 years for sure, way more people know this than people who don't know this. And I'm not including the people who don't know anything. There are lots of people who don't know anything, no idea. Those people are a problem. I wish they cared at all about us, but they don't. They're too busy listening to pop music and watching football. That's all they care about. So when they become slaves with no money, who the government tells them what they can and can't do, can and can't say, they're like, this isn't fair. Well, maybe you should have cared while we were being destroyed. How about that? Trying to find one. Oh, this one's crazy, but it's real. This is a real person.
So you're from Sudan, but you live in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
By boat.
Got on a boat, really?
Yeah.
So you went all the way from Sudan. Sudan is in the middle of Africa, though?
Yeah, Middle East Africa.
So how'd you get on a
Sudan.
boat? Where'd you get on the boat?
No, just we went to Libya. You know Libya.
You went to Libya on a boat, and then you went to Italy, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Anybody help you? Like, was there organizations or charities or whatever?
Yeah. Government help people.
Who helped you?
Government.
Which government?
Government in UK.
So you went to the UK. The government gives you money? How much do they give you? The government pay your house? Who pays for your house?
Government.
The government pays your house.
Yeah.
So the government pays your whole rent 100%.
Yeah.
Living for
What about
free.
your food? Who pays your food?
Me.
You have a job?
I don't have a job.
So how do you pay your food? Where do you get your money from?
Oh, the government help me.
Oh, the government
the
pays
gov-
your food as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not working in the government. The government pays all your bills.
Yeah, government. Just right now, government buys your house.
Isn't that a little bit strange that you go to a foreign country and they pay all of your bills when there are people living in England who can barely afford to live, or there are people in England who are from England who live in the streets and they can't get any help from the government, but then you from Sudan, who's never been to England before, have no connection, you get all your money given to you, all your bills paid for you. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So you're from Sudan, but you live in the United States.
Where does the government get their money? From the English citizens who don't have any money because it's getting stolen from them and given to these people who are coming in who are completely different than them, who they never asked for, and who in many cases are raping, murdering, terrorizing, and destroying the country. And why would the government do that? Because the government doesn't work for the people of that country. That country's government works for somebody else. Satanic pedophiles who control their country because they have bought and blackmailed their politicians. Same thing that happens in Canada, same thing that happens in the United States. We're all going through this together. Pretty horrific, and we're not doing anything about it. It starts with talking about it. If you're not talking about this stuff, you're not doing anything you're supposed to do. You're not even trying to help. Here's another good one. This is the same guy. He's got a good page. What's his name? Martinez Politics. This is Instagram page. He's on X as well.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Do you believe in white privilege?
I do.
Okay, so if I go on Facebook, for example, and I say white power, what will happen to me?
I hope that people will tell you how wrong that is, because there is no race that is better than any other.
Okay, but if I go...
By the way, when a boy kind of looks like a girl, there's a heightened chance that he has a liberal mindset and he has no sense. He doesn't know anything about anything. He's never thought about his opinions. He just gets his opinions from the world and then parrots them. So when you question him on his opinions, he won't have any good answers, and oftentimes becomes very emotional because in real time, their entire worldview is crashing down. And if they were to admit it, they would have to question everything about themselves, everything they believe, maybe their friendships, maybe the way their personality at work will have to change. It's a painful process to learn the truth. So instead of learning the truth, they just, they go bananas. They lose their mind. They become an emotional wreck. That's the problem with liberalism. It doesn't require much thinking. You just have to pay attention to what you are supposed to think. And then when someone tries to get you to think, it becomes an existential crisis.
Go on there and say that my account will be deleted, or at least that post will be banned, and then if I say it again and again, they will take down my account. Now, if I go on the same website and I say Black Power, what will happen to me?
Okay,
That's okay.
I totally get what you're trying to say here.
Well, wait, just answer the question. What will happen to me if I say Black Power?
You will not get banned, and that's because
Oh,
the people, like black people,
I
have been
see.
systematically oppressed,
hang on,
and they
Back to Marxism.
have never been the people
hang
who
on,
have power.
hang
So
on. So you're saying it's
right
okay?
give black people the same voice and power as white people.
Like,
But
So
but that
equality and
example, but
equity.
hang on a
So
second.
Sorry.
That example that I just gave you is proof that blacks have more power than white people. They're able to say things that white people can't say, that the society will ostracize the white person for saying, but will not ostracize the black. That's proof of black privilege.
So, yeah, okay, sorry. That is not correct.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's called the double standard. It's
You
when
don't
if there's
actually, like,
if-
you look at such dumb things. Don't you
if
see
that's a double
fucking
standard.
Slavery, look at it. People
Yeah, slavery
have
doesn't
been
exist
put
today,
in
boy.
cages and had to
Here
fucking
we go with the emotional crap. Look, it's called a speech code. Hello, sir.
emotional crap. So he began to panic because he was just showed the flaw in his argument. His argument was, well, black people are oppressed and they have it bad, and so we have to oppress white people to equalize things. And now you have to defend why it's good to intentionally oppress people because of their skin color. So he goes round and round. So now white people are oppressed. He admitted it. He admits that white people can't say the same things as black people. So now white people are oppressed. So how are we going to get the government to punish black people to balance this out? What are we going to do? How should we punish these blacks so that these whites can have a better life? Or you can stop being an evil Marxist scumbag and let everyone play by the exact same rules. Everyone can say what they want to say. You won't punish one group. You won't reward another group. People can't steal money from each other through taxation. Whatever you work for, that's yours. Do what you want with it. You know, buy a Corvette or start a local charity or build a church or, you know, donate to your local hospital that has nothing to do with the government because a regular person started it and provides health care. And if they do a good job, they make money because they're doing a good job. The government doesn't give them a bailout because the government's not getting tax money to give bailouts. All this stuff is connected. I'm telling you, our country used to work correctly, and now it works very, very incorrectly on purpose, because when a country works incorrectly, when you install Marxism, which gives more power to the state due to emotional outbursts that demand it, now the state has the power. Now the state does what it wants. And what would the state want to do? Let you keep your money or take money from you? Of course they want to take money from you. So that's what they're going to do. Take money from you. This was a good one too. Here's Mel Gibson, probably back in the 80s, judging by his hair and the quality of the film.
Questions about this foreign debt and where this foreign debt's coming from. You get hold of this foreign debt to get us out of trouble, and then they have something called foreign aid, which is, it'd be okay if it was feeding starving children or something, but it's not. They're giving many millions to countries like Red China, North Vietnam, South Korea, to develop steel industries. And they give this money to them interest-free. But you know who has to pay the interest on that money? The Australian taxpayer has to pay the interest on that money.
Yeah.
And to add insult to injury, they are creating industries in competition with our own steel industry. Now, they're telling us from both sides to be more productive, stick together, get in front, be more productive, get ahead again. And at the same time, they're slipping a quid overseas to make sure that they successfully stifle our own industries.
You're obviously hot under the collar.
I am damn hot under the collar. And I care about this nation. Questions about...
So in summation there, the government that's supposed to take care of his country, that's their job, instead is destroying his country for their own gain. or for the gain of other countries who likely own his politicians. You see the scam? Do you see why I keep saying that we should not pay taxes? Why would you pay taxes to an enemy? If your government is controlled by people who are not doing what they're supposed to do and are in fact taking advantage of you, they are an enemy of yours. Why do you give money to your enemy that is destroying your home and by proxy, your life? I don't understand the argument against that. Unless you are trying to tell me that it's good that your country's being destroyed, and I don't accept that. I don't think it is. I live here. This is my home. It's my only home. I don't want it to be destroyed. Unless you can convince me that I'm wrong and my country should be destroyed, I don't think you have an argument. That's pretty simple. Some of these are really short.
Jewish media is giving the liberals their talking points. They're telling them that like transgenderism, all this stuff is, like men should be in women's sports, like white men are the problem. They're telling them all this stuff, right? And by the way, it's very coincidentally exactly what was going on in Weimar Germany prior to, the Nazis taking over. And what did the Nazis do? They shut down the child brothels. They shut down the transgender clinics. They shut down a lot of this filth. Like, I mean, if you look at Weimar Germany, it was like a cesspool. Mothers and daughters prostituting themselves, child brothels, transgenderism, promotion of homosexuality, like all that moral decay. And today it's like packaged as being progressive, but it's not really progressive. It's a regurgitation of what was happening 100 years ago. They're counting on you doing.
Here's the thing. It is progressive. It is progress if your goal is to destroy the moral fabric and the culture of a society and weaken the nation. So to the Satan-worshiping Jewish supremacists who control our government, that is progress. But when they tell you it's progressive, they're talking about from their point of view, not from yours. You want to maintain your nation, your society, your culture, your civilization. You don't want it to be destroyed, but they do. So to them, that is progress. So they are progressive. So don't think of the word progressive as a good thing. It's progressing towards ruin, chaos, destruction. That's the progression they're talking about. If you want to get theological about it, Satan's goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. So when you get closer to murder, theft, destruction, he's progressing. He's progressing towards his goal. So these people who worship Satan are progressing. They are progressive from Satan's perspective. That's regression for people who have the opposite perspective. For people who follow God and want to promote a godly country, the satanic progressivism is regressivism for us. So don't be fooled by the word progressive. What's this one about, Mamdani?
We actually still have a law on the books called the Communist Control Act.
Go on.
Even naturalized U.S. citizens, if they are communists, if they carry out communist political activity, they can be denaturalized and deported on those grounds. The president should invoke the Communist Control Act and just denaturalize him, send him back to Uganda, and then it's over. Right?
Yeah.
Do it. Like that really is what should happen. Not just with him, but like all his voters.
Get out! Get out! Get the hell out of here!
And that's probably the next place that the Overton window is going to necessarily have to shift. We actually still have a law.
Okay, so what he said was, we have a Communist Control Act. In other words, you can invoke that. President Trump could do that. He could end the threat of communism by using that law that's on the books. So if he could do that, you may ask yourself, well, then he's been talking lots of trash about communism. He's acting like it's the greatest threat. Why doesn't he do it? Well, here's the bigger point. This is what you really need to understand. Since he can end the threat and chooses not to end the threat, that insinuates that he wants the threat. So why would Trump want the threat of communism to continue? Because we choose between one of two sides of the uniparty, the red side, Republicans, or the blue side, Democrats. If he can scare you, if he can make the Democrats so scary that you're basically emotionally forced to vote for the Republicans, then the uniparty stays in power. They want the threat. They want Islam here. They want mass immigration here. They want communism here. They want the wars. They want all these threats so they can scare you into voting into one side or the other to fix the problem. And then when you vote for those people, they don't fix the problem, because if they fix the problem, then their dichotomy of you must pick one or you'll have terrible consequences. If they fixed it, that dichotomy would not exist. You would no longer be scared into voting for red or blue. That's the trick. They're never going to fix the problems. They have no interest in fixing the problems, because if they fix the problems, that's a problem for them. When people talk about freedom of religion in America, they bring up Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, and Satanism, and whatever religion you would like to celebrate or push, right? Now, if America during the time that they were advocating for religious freedom was 99% Christian, why would they be advocating for the right of religions that would destroy them to have a right to practice that religion? That's not what they were doing. They were saying, hey, you can be a Catholic, you can be a Protestant, you can be Orthodox Christian. We can't make you choose your denomination of Christianity. That's what they were arguing over. They weren't saying, hey, I know that we all hate Islam, but let's let them build mosques here. Why? Why would they do that? That makes no sense. They would never do that. We've been led to believe that that's what that means. A lot of time has passed and the narrative has been changed, of course, by the Satanists who control our government. And people don't look into history. And they also don't use, logic, common sense. And if you don't look into history, your logic doesn't matter, because you have nothing to work your logic on. And if you look into history without logic, well, then it's useless, right? So you have to know some history and apply logic to it to understand what I mean by religious freedom was talking about denominations of Christianity, not literally whatever you want to do. They did not want that. They knew they weren't stupid. They knew it would be terrible for America if there were mosques and synagogues and giant demon statues everywhere. Texas has a giant demon statue right outside of Houston. None of those people wanted that. They didn't even want the threat of that. You've been lied to about the meaning of freedom of religion, okay? Understand that. It's going to be very important to understand that in the future, in the next I mean, it's happening right now, but it's going to happen for, I don't know, 20 years, 50 years. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's really hard to predict the future right now because things are moving so quickly, but you'll need to know that type of thing if you're trying to defend your faith within your country and maintain the civilization that we have built, the Western civilization that we have. So I got a little fancy with the screen sharing and the layout. I'm not particularly tech savvy, but it got the job done. I thought that was fun. Kind of kept me from speaking for 30 straight minutes by myself, which is what I usually do. So consider this a bit of a break, I suppose, but a good one. I thought it was entertaining. I'll enjoy rewatching it. I like this. That's the first time. I like them this time. But yeah, y'all be good. I know I made some bad points, but I made some good ones too.